Today I'm going to be making this enclosed ecosphere. This is the jar I chose. It's about 2-3 gallons. I cleaned it out and it's pretty nice and large in there. I'm using dirt as my substrate because it has a lot of nutrients for the plants to grow in, and I'm kind of doing a wall stud method except for much smaller, and I'm going to be putting it inside of an ecosphere. So I'm going to pour it all in. Now I'm spraying it to get all the air out and just to make it easier to work with. And now looking back, it would have been a lot easier to just pour water in there and mix it around, but I decided to go the hard route and spray it, which was not the best decision. As you can see, I ended up pouring some water in, but I should have just done that from the beginning and done a lot more, because I was spraying for about 5 minutes straight. And so yeah, then I mixed it around, put some more water in. I decided to use an old mix of fluid stratum and some river pebbles that I had laying around. I poured it in, and slowly at first, but then I just decided to pour it all, and it was extremely dusty. It made my whole room dusty and on there, and then I had a little cup with a little bit more, and I first sprayed, and then I poured the rest of that in too. And I was just spraying it around. I mean, it really didn't matter because I was going to add more later, but I decided to do that. Then I added some more, and it was a dusty once again, and this time it was a bit more than the last two, and it was enough for me to top off, and that was all the fluid stratum I would need. And so then I decided to spread it out and try and get some of the dust away, but yeah, then I decided to spray some water on it. I'm using Ecostone or Dragonstone as my hardscape. This is what I decided to go with, a nice little formation there with some space in the back for planting. And my other hardscape is mini Malaysian driftwood. I had a bunch of it stored up, some nice pieces, and I chose out 2 pieces for this build. And I wanted to set this up in a way that I could have some smaller foreground plants, and then I wanted to leave space behind the rocks and the wood for some stem plants, and yeah, just so they could fill up that space behind there, give some nice sense of depth to it. These are the pieces I ended up going with. I really liked how they're shaped and everything, and I think they will go around the rocks really nicely. This is the final product of the hardscape. I really liked how that one piece of wood kind of went over the rock. It had a nice feel to it, and I also like how the other piece of wood was in the background. These are the plants I ended up going with. I chose some Java moss. That looked really cool. The next plant I chose was some green Mirio. Looks really cool. I really like it. The last plant I chose is a few different types of Lowigia, and by the way, all these plants I got from trimmings from other tanks I have. What the planting was looking like after the stem plants. I really liked how I've had the green mirror on the left side and the Lowigia kind of behind the rocks on the right. This is what it's looking like with all the planting done. I really like how the moss fit right in between the hardscape, and yeah, I really like the placement of all the plants, how the Mario green was more on the left, and it was a little bit less tall than the Lowigia on the right side, and so it adds some nice depth. Now I'm going to be filling it up with dechlorinated water, and so I don't have to put any water conditioner in there, which is nice. Now the tank is all set up, so it's time to move it out of the workplace and into the place where it will be staying, which is next to a project that I'll be releasing a video on in the future. This is what it was looking like. As you can see, there's bubbles everywhere. It's pretty cloudy, but it still looks good. But I wanted it to rest for a little while, and so that the bubbles would go away, and that there would be a lot less cloudiness and better view into it. So yeah, I decided to add a little bit of duckweed on top and some snails to ram's horns, just so that the snails can complete the cycle of poop to the plants and all that, and the duckweed can help suck out some of the bad stuff. As you can see on the water, there's the duckweed. It's not much, but it can multiply quick, so I didn't want to overload it at the start. Here I'm adding the snails. They were suctioned onto the top of the container, so it's hard to get them out, but here they are going in, and you can see the one snail had a piece of dead plant in its mouth already, and their names are Bob is the one's name and Larry is the other. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And now you can see them in there. If I zoom in, right in the crack between the wood and the rock, and you can see Bob is already starting to move around a little bit. So I add the plastic wrap on, and this is the final look. I think it looks really good, and I really like how it turned out. I'm really proud of it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully you guys can set up something like this yourself.